As Notre Dame's 94th season of football dawned beneath the Golden Dome, there was no secret to the challenge confronting the Fighting Irish. Anxious to prove itself against a particularly demanding schedule, Notre Dame found itself pitted against 5 teams that finished in the Associated Press top 15 the previous season. As year number 2 of the Jerry Faust era approached, there was an air of electric intensity that earmarked Irish preparations. Notre Dame's 1982 edition was determined to fan the flames of its storied gridiron tradition. For Faust and his Fighting Irish, there would be ample opportunities to wake up the echoes. Portable lights greeted Irish fans at the season opener in the first ever night football game at Notre Dame Stadium. It was 9th-ranked Michigan against an Irish unit eager to open 1982 with an exclamation point. It was Notre Dame's Phil Carter versus Michigan's Anthony Carter. It was an opportunity to kick off the campaign with a win over a Michigan team that would go on to the Rose Bowl. Defense would be a season-long Irish hallmark, and Notre Dame wasted little time alerting the Wolverines to that fact. Bob Claspy forced a fumble on the first Michigan series. And senior Mike Johnston booted the first of his 3 field goals that evening. Irish end Kevin Griffith sent an obvious message to Michigan signal caller Steve Smith. And Phil Carter followed Larry Williams' block for 21 quick yards. Michigan's confusion provided a gift for Mark Zavagnin. Larry Moriarty's sideline sprint on a timely Irish counter play turned into 6 more points. Mike Larkin characterized Notre Dame's aggressive pursuit, while Blair Keel's pinpoint passing highlighted the Irish 2-minute drill. Joe Howard's reception set Mike Johnston up for a 37-yard field goal that made it 13-0 at intermission. With Blair Keel throwing for 59 yards on the next drive, the Irish threatened again. Greg Bell lowered the boom by hurdling the final 11 yards through the left side. Despite the celebration by Irish fans, the visitors from Ann Arbor weren't finished yet. A crunching hit by Dave Dewerson and Stacy Torin appeared to force a Michigan incompletion, but Rick Rogers appeared out of nowhere to turn this freak play into a Wolverine score. Hard-charging Larry Moriarty kept Michigan guessing on this 37-yard burst, Notre Dame's longest gain of the evening. But it was left for free safety Dave Dewerson to make this game-saving steal to protect the 23-17 Irish upset.
Well, beating Michigan was just a great feeling because the year before they had embarrassed us, and we still had that in our minds. And I think that was one of the most important things that when we went out that game, we played that football game, we played it with our hearts. We played it with some intensity that I had never seen a Notre Dame football team play with before.
Jerry Faust plotted the continuation of that intensity against Purdue. And no one followed that script better than Larry Moriarty. The Irish fullback headlined an 80-yard march with this 30-yard gain. Then Moriarty blasted the final 2 yards by himself to hand Notre Dame an early advantage that brought plenty of smiles to the Irish sideline. Some nifty footwork by tailback Greg Bell laid the groundwork for another Irish touchdown. And Larry Moriarty added the finishing touches to a 51-yard Notre Dame drive. After the Boilermakers bounced back with 2 second-period scores, it was Phil Carter's turn to take charge. A 35-yard gain on first down set the stage for a 6-yard sweep by the Irish tri-captain, who put the home team ahead to stay. Mike Larkin forced this Purdue fumble, and Mark Zavagnin recovered deep in Boiler territory. Phil Carter added 10 of his game-high 154 yards for the clinching touchdown, and Irish partisans went home happy for the second straight week. As Tony Hunter and his Irish teammates readied themselves in Michigan State's Spartan Stadium, little did they know what a day for defense it would be. Agile Kevin Griffith made certain the Spartans understood the game plan. With the Notre Dame secondary doing its fair share against the pass-minded Spartans, Mike Johnston took care of the scoring needs. The Irish Gold Rush defense took charge as first Mike Larkin and then Mike Gann did their part to hold the Spartans to 19 yards on the ground. The Irish took advantage of 6 MSU turnovers, 4 on interceptions like this one by Chris Brown, plus 2 more on fumble recovery. Kevin Griffith alertly gathered in one loose football. Mike Larkin forced another turnover, and Mark Zavagnin's recovery put the Irish in control. Mike Johnston did all the rest, as his soccer-style boots provided the margin in the 11-3 Notre Dame triumph that marked the first Irish road test of the year. Jerry Faust hardly needed an angle in Notre Dame's matchup with 16th-ranked Miami, because few of the Irish had forgotten their hurricane win over Notre Dame from the previous year. Once again, it was the defense that paved the way. Mark Zavagnin intercepted a Mark Richt pass on the Hurricanes' first play from scrimmage. In fact, a ferocious rush pressured Richt all day long. Blair Keel negotiated 20 quick yards on a diving reception by Joe Howard. By himself, winning a foot race for the flag with a dive that provided the halftime margin for the home squad. The Hurricanes struck pay dirt on the first possession of the third period. Then it was Blair Keel's turn to locate Larry Moriarty on a screen pass good for 15 yards down the Irish sideline. Notre Dame's fullback came right back with 21 more yards on the draw play to put Mike Johnston in position for his 7th consecutive field goal of the still young season. After Miami regained the lead, it was up to the Irish offense. Keel completions to Tony Hunter, then to Phil Carter, preceded a key carry by Larry Moriarty.
When we were coming down that final stretch right there before I got hurt, I made the long run, and I got excited, and it was strange because it was something that just came down upon me. I'm usually a quiet person, and I got out there, and I got excited, and I threw my hand up in the air, and I never heard the end of it from the fans and from the coaches. They told me that I played an important part of getting people fired up and getting them excited, and I continued it from there on out.
A second and goal call produced what looked like a game-saving interception for Miami. But for offensive guard Tom Thayer and his teammates, the contest was far from over.
Well, we were running I think it was a 14 pass, and I was pass blocking Fitzpatrick, and I saw the ball leave Blair Keel's hand, and as it did, the Miami guy intercepted it. And Fitzpatrick looked at me and goes, "Hey, Thayer." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "It's over. You guys are nothing. You're through. Your season's over with." I said, "Excuse me." I said, "This is Notre Dame. We're coming back." We both ran off to each sideline, started looking at each other. And we came in for our first play, the 2-minute drill, and we completed a 22-yard pass to Phil Carter. I looked at Fitzpatrick, and I said, "Here we come." And he looked at me and just put his head down and shook it away.
Taking over with 1 minute 47 seconds on the clock, that pass to Carter quickly moved the Irish into enemy territory. A bullet to Tony Hunter added 9 more. And an 11-yard pickup by Phil Carter left the game up to the foot of Mike Johnston.
I almost knew that the opportunity was going to come. Just the fact that Notre Dame is known for that, for coming from behind. Just regardless of what happened, I just wanted to get it the best that I could. And unfortunately, it turned out well.
Johnston's 32-yarder with 11 seconds remaining prompted a celebration of Notre Dame's 16-14 victory, one that proved as satisfying as any for Faust and his players. Notre Dame's 4th home date in 5 weeks brought a visit from Pac-10 representative Arizona. With Greg Bell out for the season with a leg injury, the Irish looked to freshman Alan Pinkett to help shoulder the tailback load. His 25-yard scamper against the grain accounted for a 10-0 first quarter edge. By this time, the Irish defense had become the top-ranked defense in the country against the run. Against the relentless assault, the Wildcats managed only 73 rushing yards. For the 5th straight week, a Notre Dame opponent had missed the 100-yard barrier in ground yardage. Mark Brooks's 5 receptions helped keep the offense on track. But this time it was the Irish who died by the field goal. Freshman Max Zendejas' 48-yarder against the wind as time expired won it 16-13 for Arizona. Notre Dame's first visit to the Pacific Northwest in 33 years pitted the Irish against the Ducks of Oregon. Alan Pinkett enjoyed another impressive outing. He needed only 2 carries to cover 30 yards for an early Irish advantage. Tight end Tony Hunter displayed his all-star form on the first of his 4 catches. And sophomore Ken Karcher got into the act with a 53-yard toss to Joe Howard. But the Irish needed a late rally before Mike Johnston's 13th consecutive 3-pointer tied the contest for good at 13. Notre Dame's injury-riddled offense received a timely boost on the Giant Stadium turf. And it was quarterback Blair Keel who played a key role in the 234 passing yards rolled up by the Irish. This 3-yard scoring toss to Chris Smith capped an 80-yard march. Another of Keel's 18 completions went to a jitterbugging Alan Pinkett. Keel's accuracy continued as he found Larry Moriarty. Moriarty's leaping extra effort into the end zone gave Notre Dame a 20-2 advantage. It was an offensive rejuvenation that pleased Moriarty as much as it did the partisan Irish crowd of more than 73,000. A Navy turnover enabled Alan Pinkett to score from 12 yards out. The freshman's first career start and his 129 rushing yards gave the Irish plenty to cheer about. The irrepressible Notre Dame defense again made its share of big plays. The Fighting Irish came up with 6 interceptions, 3 by All-America safety Dave Duerson. The Gold Rush defense held the Middies to a mere 73 ground yards. The 27-10 victory provided just the injection of confidence the Irish needed to send them on to Pittsburgh to face the unbeaten and top-ranked Panthers.
Well, it's not too often that everyone has the opportunity to play against the #1 ranked football team in the country, and we told the players that it would be a game that they would always remember.
We went into that game hoping to be able to change up a lot of things, blitz when we could, try to confuse their quarterback as much as we could, and we were able to do that. They're a very talented team, and we went into the game with a little bit of apprehension, but things worked out okay.
Griffith and his defensive mates helped cancel those apprehensions as Notre Dame quickly put a halt to Pitt's plan to run the football. It was a costly Panther turnover that set the stage for Notre Dame's offensive show. The first scene featured Blair Keel and Larry Moriarty.
The whole week before, Coach Hudson saw that they ran a two-deep coverage, and they were leaving the middle wide open. And the previous couple games, I've been running that shoot pattern out into the flats. And I took off and went, like I was going to the side, went straight up the middle, and Blair hit me a perfect strike, and that was it. And I got excited, and the team started going from there.
Moriarty's 30-yard advance was followed by an Alan Pinkett sweep for 11 yards. Then Moriarty gave the challengers a 10-6 lead by bullying his way into the end zone from 4 yards away. Pitt came right back to regain the lead until it was done in by some Notre Dame razzle-dazzle.
Well, watching, the films of Pitt, their secondary supports the run, real good. And we figured, if we pull something off where they picked up run, and threw a pass some kind of way, then we can, get a big play on it. And what happened was Blair had pitched the ball to Field, and Field turned around and pitched the ball back to Blair, and the defensive backs were out of position. By the time they realized I was behind them, and scored the touchdown.
That gutsy call on first down from the Notre Dame 46 put the Irish back on top for good and enabled the defense to follow its bend but never break philosophy.
Basically what we did was we just tried to apply a lot of pressure to Dan Marino and to their receivers and try and take the defense to them rather than sit back and be a reactive type defense.
Notre Dame's defensive heroics prompted yet another big gainer by the Irish.
Well, the technical term for the play, or the technical name for the play, was left 37. Basically what it was a sprint draw type play. And on the sprint draw type play, I had the option to either go outside or cut back across the grain. Now, my thoughts were to cut back inside because Pitt was very aggressive and they floated the ball very fast. So I figured since they were doing that, I would cut back across the grain and they would overrun me. Well, when I did cut back, I found two guys to my left, and I told myself right then and there that I was not going to make any moves. I was just going to go straight and go as quick as possible. And after I got through that little path that they left there for me, it was just clear sailing.
The freshman's magnificent 76-yard scoring dash put Notre Dame on top 24-16. And the next Irish possession put the final nails into the Pittsburgh coffin. Joe Howard opened that series with an 18-yard pickup on a reverse. Larry Moriarty followed by bursting through the middle of the line for 29 yards. And Alan Pinkett finished it off with a twisting, turning run that landed him smack on top of the goal line. A hairy Dan Marino guided the Cotton Bowl-bound Panthers into Irish territory, but his fourth down throw was batted away by Dave Dewerson. The 31-16 upset win went onto the list of historic Irish victories over top-rated teams, a list that Jerry Faust had read to the team before the game. He told them it would be a day they would remember the rest of their lives. It was all that and much more. The Irish returned home to play host to another power, the fourth-ranked Nittany Lions of Penn State. Linebacker Mark Savagnin made life difficult for Penn State's Kurt Warner. And Joe Johnson did the same for quarterback Todd Blackledge. Notre Dame grabbed the early lead on this fourth down rollout by sophomore Ken Karcher, resulting in a scoring throw to classmate Chris Smith. Alan Pinkett splitting the tailback chores with veteran Phil Carter, the Irish running game continued its productivity. The speedy freshman who finished 9th in the nation in kickoff returns came up with a momentum-switching big play for the second straight week. This time it was a 93-yard kickoff return through a maze of white jerseys down the Penn State sideline. The run back gave the Irish faithful cause to celebrate a 14-13 Notre Dame halftime lead. But with Blair Keel sidelined by a shoulder injury, Penn State's defense held strong in the second half, despite the efforts of Pinkett and his teammates. The 24-14 win by the visitors made Penn State only the fourth team since 1943 to win in its first visit to Notre Dame Stadium. A high-flying Air Force team with its wishbone offense proved more than the Irish defense could handle. This Dave Dewerson interception helped hold Air Force to 82 passing yards, but the Falcons built a 27-3 advantage that proved too much to overcome. A pair of final period scoring passes by Jim O'Hara only closed the gap in the 30-17 Air Force victory. The Irish traveled to USC for their season finale in hopes of handing John Robinson a loss in his last game as Trojan head coach. Native Californian Larry Moriarty did his best to make that dream a reality with this first-period touchdown dive. But despite the Irish offensive domination and an unrelenting defense that allowed the Trojans but 54 rushing yards, it wasn't to be for Notre Dame. USC scored the winning points in the 17-13 decision on a final second dive by Michael Harper, though films and photos later proved Harper never had the football when he crossed the goal line. Before the 1982 season began, Jerry Faust had talked about the Irish goal of defeating the great football teams on that tough Notre Dame schedule. He and his squad did just that in knocking off Michigan, Miami, and Pittsburgh, and coming ever so close in narrow losses to Penn State and USC. It was a season for some newcomers like Alan Pinkett to shine. And it was a season of growing for underclassmen like Blair Keel and Stacey Torin, who will captain the Irish in 1983. It was a year in which 82 captains Mark Savagnin, Dave Duerson, and Phil Carter gained a special appreciation of what Notre Dame is all about.
I think the thing that makes Notre Dame special is the communication you have with your teammates and with your coaches and the administration. I think I've made some great friends over the years here, and friends that I'll never forget, and friends that I hope will always remain close to me, and I'll remain close to them.
Each individual person that's a part of Notre Dame just has made this the greatest experience that I've ever had in my life, and that'll be one that I'll treasure.
I think the most thing I remember about Notre Dame is just the idea of the family, the team unity, and just everybody's so close.
It was a year in which a talented group of seniors left their mark on the Notre Dame record book. 5 different Irish players earned All-America mention in '82. Guard Tom Thayer, free safety Dave Duerson, linebacker Mark Savagnin, kicker Mike Johnston, and tight end Tony Hunter. Offensive standouts Phil Carter, Larry Moriarty, Mark Fisher, Randy Ellis, and John Sweeney all made noteworthy contributions. Bob Claspy, Kevin Griffith, and Joe Rudzinski proved to be standouts on defense. As Jerry Faust noted, they helped light the flame. Now it's up to the future Irish teams to make that flame burn even brighter.